Hi, I'm David Alexander, and welcome to Secrets Exploring Tullahoma. This is the channel where we uncover the hidden gems, untold stories, and the remarkable people that make this town so special. In today's episode, that's a perfect example of what I'm talking about. We're heading into the wild, literally, to meet Lyle and Valerie Russell, the extraordinary couple behind the Middle Tennessee Raptor Center. Nestled right here in Tullahoma, this sanctuary is a haven for injured birds of prey, and the Russell has dedicated their lives to rescuing, rehabilitating, and releasing these majestic creatures back into the skies. You'll hear the inspiring story of how the center came to be, witness some unforgettable moments from their work, and even get a glimpse of their incredible footage thanks to Lyle for generously sharing his videos with us. And yes, we couldn't wrap this introduction out without a shout out to Donkey, their goat, who made this interview one for the books. If you like discovering the hidden side of Tullahoma, don't forget to hit like and subscribe so you won't miss what's coming next. Now let's get to it. This Raptor Center.
Fiona wants to come pay a visit.
Tell me how this all started.
Go ahead.
Okay. So we started out in falconry. Valerie and our oldest son Ian were both doing falconry. They were taking birds out and hunting, and we had a friend who's been doing it for several years, and so we were helping take care of his birds when he would go out of town. And so kind of got into it where they would go out and hunt, and I would build, whatever they needed, perches like this, or, enclosures, whatever we needed for the birds. And then I guess it was probably about, 2016 or thereabouts. And then we're going to have a lot of visitors here today.
Okay.
They will. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Come on. But, so then the TWRA actually reached out to us because Valerie is a nurse, and
don't be sorry.
Fiona.
She's being a goat.
So the TWRA reached out to Valerie, and they, knowing that she had medical background, they said, "Hey, would you be interested in being a rehabilitator? We're kind of short on rehabilitators for raptors in this area." So we looked into the process and decided to go ahead and do that in education, and so. In officially 2021, we became a nonprofit and called ourselves Middle Tennessee Raptor Center. And now
I did say when I was out front, it's a 501c3.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We became a nonprofit in 2001, and here we are almost 5 years later, and still doing it.
So do you get a lot of interest as far as donations and whatnot?
It's hit or miss. We've been very lucky that there are a few people that are really big supporters of what we do, and they have been very generous with some things that we needed to get going and to keep food and everything that we need.
Yeah, that's
fine. Hi, buddy. Hey.
Hey! Don't you feed this goat?
That'll be a good one for the blooper reel. We might have to put these guys up for a little bit. Donkey, please
don't eat. Don't eat.
Not Journey or any of the other birds, but how did Journey, the red-tailed hawk, shape the mission of the Raptor Center?
Do you want to answer that one?
Journey was an interesting bird. So Journey was struck by a train, and we had her for probably a good year and a half at least.
Yeah, it was almost 2 years.
She had a traumatic brain injury. She went to another rehabber first, and the rehabber had done everything that she could do in order to try to get her back on track, but she still was suffering from this brain injury. She was very slow on the uptake, and so she asked if I wanted to work with her, and so we did, and we worked on flying on a creance, which is basically having them hooked to a long paracord, and they fly from one perch to my glove, and we start doing it with live prey and things like that so they can get the skill back up of being able to kill live prey. But it took her a good 1.5 years before she was able to successfully be able to hunt on her own and return back to the wild. And I think that was our first really invested bird. I mean, we had others, but I feel like that was the one that really we spent so much time and had so much faith in her being able to get back to.
And it sounds like it paid off.
It did pay off. It did pay off, and she was a force to be reckoned with by the time we released her.
Yeah, she was a large bird to begin with. She was really strong. She just had a cognitive delay from her injuries, but just given enough time and working with her enough, it finally got her back to the point where she could hunt on her own and be successful. So
cool. Yeah. I know it's a process that you started with. Did you start with Journey?
I think she was our first rehab bird. Because you had falconry birds before that.
Yeah, I had falconry birds. I think there were others, but they were ones that just needed some extra TLC and some time. But she was definitely our first most invested in bird that we worked with. That's really when we made the determination that we would rather put the time into one that we felt like had potential than to euthanize automatically.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's one thing we still do to this day, is that we give the extra. If we feel like they're going to be able to make a full recovery, we'll put in that extra time with them instead of automatically euthanize. Which, unfortunately with some of the other rehabs, it's not that it's a bad thing, it's just that they don't have the capability of being able to put the time in like that. So because we're smaller, we have that time to be able to put into them.
The process of receiving a bird, putting them through rehab to the point where they get released.
Okay.
Here you go.
Yeah. So, all right. So the birds, when we first get them, they go in the house. We have an area with basically small enclosures, depending on what their injury is. Most of the time, it's some sort of either brain trauma, some sort of wing injury. In birds of prey, if they have a leg injury, that's almost automatically a euthanasia because the pain later on in life
when they're using
yes it. and also that's how they eat and survive. So determining basically which cage they go into, so they start off in a small cage, depending on, we do a lot of the assessment ourselves. I use a vet out of Manchester who will do x-rays and things like that, or if they come in with an illness, he's very good about prescribing antibiotics and stuff for me to get them started on. So once they are in there and they get fluids, automatically every bird that comes in goes through kind of a routine. We do a head-to-toe assessment, figure out what the issue is. They are treated for flies and mites, that's automatic. All wild birds have them. We just don't really want to have them in the house. So they're all treated for that. And then they all get fluids, and depending on what happened with them, they usually get some anti-inflammatories or pain medication. Once we get them stabilized, and that is if they're eating on their own. If they're able to eat on their own, we start progressively moving them to larger cages outside. So,
which is what these are.
Yes,
right.
Yeah, and we kind of have step up different ones.
And then if we get one that can't eat on their own, we'll hand feed them until they get to that point.
Yeah,
So.
but they always get to that.
Well,
Some.
I would say the majority do,
Yeah.
but there are some cases where, unfortunately, the injuries are just too great.
But once they get to that point, they go out into bigger enclosures. Then, depending on what type of a bird it is, we'll do the creance if they need it. We have done live quail. We are fortunate to have a breeder who provides us with those when we need it, and we'll do live quail tests and things like that to see if they're able to react and kill prey on their own. Do same thing with mice. So I think that's pretty much.
Yeah, and then when it comes time for release day, we'll usually wait until the weather's clear for a few days ahead, so that way when they do get out in the wild, they're not immediately going into a cold snap or a rainstorm.
We want to
or
set them
something
up
like
for
that.
success as
Yes.
best we can.
Yes.
Yeah, so we make sure we feed them really well the night before, the morning of, depending on the circumstances, and then so that way when they get out there, they don't have to immediately go hunt. They can get established, get comfortable with where they're at. So, so they still have to put in a little bit of work, but we get them prepped and find a good, clear spot to open the door and let them go.
Well, I've seen some of the videos.
Yeah.
Even without knowing the birds, it can be very emotional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there are times when people call us and we'll go and get a bird. We try to release them if it's a safe area to go back to. We try to release them in the same place because many times they may have an established family or something there. But on the ones that are not in good places, we had one that we just released somewhere else. It was a great horned owl in a very residential area, not a good opportunity for food source. So we try to set them up as much as we can for success.
Plus, the person that found that one said that there were other ones already in that area.
Oh, okay.
And
That
so
makes
there's
sense.
territorial issues with that too. And so if there's already a big population there, that may not be the best place to release them back to because they may end up right back with us.
Right. Okay. I'm going to go through all these questions, talking about the plans of the future and asking for donations. What is your current number one priority for that money that you need? What's the number one thing?
It's really hard to assign a spot like that because there's so many. We go through a lot of medical supplies. There's some of that's they don't have birds of prey stores where you can go buy stuff for them. So we have to get specialized items sometimes. And so what we found is that we don't always need certain things, but when we do need a certain thing, it's good to have it. So really, I hate to be like every other nonprofit out there in this regard, but monetary donations are the easiest for us to make the best use of.
Or frozen feeder mice.
Yeah. If you want to purchase a bag of frozen mice for us, that works too. But yeah, so some of the medical supplies, some of the things like our gloves and the gear that the birds wear to keep them controlled. Again, they don't sell it at Walmart, so there's some things we even have to order from England just because there's manufacturers of specific stuff that we know works really well, and we'll spend that extra money to go ahead and get the good stuff to make sure that the birds the most comfortable, the best taken care of situation. So but our long-term goal, obviously Middle Tennessee Raptor Center is a fancy way of saying our backyard, which we're in right now. But eventually one day, we keep an eye out for properties of different sizes or shapes, because eventually we would like to open a center where not only can we take care of the birds that we have, but also almost like a nature center where people can come.
That was where I was going with that. You talked
that's
about
that's our dream.
5 to 8 acres.
Yeah, somewhere in that range, just because we'll have to mow it. If we get anything bigger than that, it might.
You take donations, but you got to let people know how to get to that. So
yeah, if you want to, if you would like to help with what we do, we do take donations through PayPal, and what's the other one we have?
Venmo.
Oh, Venmo, that's right.
And checks.
Yeah,
there
or
are
you can
some that just want checks.
Yeah, you can mail them to us or however. We also have, and I'm working on how to do this, we have an Amazon wish list that I've got to get loaded on our website that has just some of the general supplies that are easy to get on there. And then also probably the easiest way to keep up with what we do is through our Facebook and Instagram pages. They're under Middle Tennessee Raptor Center. You'll see we've been blessed that there are occasionally people that will just pop up on there that says, hey, I'm doing a birthday fundraiser and I'm trying to raise money for the Raptor Center, and we don't even know who they are. But it's somebody who's either seen us at a program or follows our
That's awesome.
our page, and we were so grateful for that. I mean, we don't ask for it, but when that comes, we make sure that anything that does come to us in that fashion, that it all goes back into the birds in one way or the other, whether it's food, medical care, enclosures, new perching. We try to keep everything well above what's required.
Okay,
Make
so
sure the
we
birds
got-
are well taken care of.
We've got a website
Yep, so you can go to our website.
or Facebook.
Yeah, middletnraptorcenter.org is our website. Facebook and Instagram, it's Middle Tennessee Raptor Center. There's avenues on there, and then also there's links on there that will take you to either PayPal or Venmo if that's what you prefer, or our address is on there. You can just look it up and
Okay.
feel free to send us a note. And
Or a bag of frozen mice.
yeah. If you need to empty your freezer out and get all your mice out of your freezer, you can do that.
How much is... In this segment, they introduced me to some of their birds. And as we wrap up, I want to point out that they do have an education program where they go into some of the schools. They did a booth at the Oktoberfest at South Jackson that I'll put pictures on. And then I'll end it with a summary from them from 2022.
It's usually pretty high. Well,
Wow, what
hello,
a
Scooby.
beautiful animal.
Hi, Scoob.
I've got to get a different... Now, who is this?
This is Scooby. This is this is Scooby. He's a black vulture. And they are just like dogs. They want to play. They get into anything. They're very curious. They are nature's custodian. And without them, we would be in a world of hurt without our vultures.
Why is that?
So basically, they kill or they eat all of the carrion, and eagles also do, turkey vultures do, and black vultures do, and that basically keeps diseases from spreading. Oh, they are very smart. They are very smart.
Almost to the point of problem solving smart. They
Yeah.
can figure out small things
The
to
puzzles
to their
feed them.
advantage. They have figured out occasionally they can get to the lock on their enclosure, and if we don't have it shut quite right, they have gotten it open one time. But they are the vultures are what's called a tame hack, which means that we can let them out, we can let them fly, and we can get them back. They'll come back. So they hang around. They really enjoy terrorizing the neighbors. They'll go sit on their roof. And I think that they enjoy it because it freaks the kids out
It
next door.
freaks the kids out.
It does, and they
Just want to show
Oh, are
them.
you going to get food? For the...
no, I'm gonna get Remy.
Oh, you're going to get Remy, okay. So we have a small, he's probably not out yet because it's not time, but we have a small screech owl in here. He's probably still in his box, but here in about another hour as it gets dark, he'll come out, and they're nocturnal and they're very small. They're
Oh,
real
okay.
tiny owls.
Okay.
So he'll be out shortly. And then we have this little ham over here. This is an American kestrel. He doesn't have a name yet, but he's actually going to be going as an education bird to a center in Alabama.
Well, hello.
Hi, buddy. And he always has a lot to say.
He's a pretty one too.
He is. Now, they're the smallest falcon that we have here in the U.S., so he's a falcon.
Okay.
And he's a male. You can tell by the coloration. He's got that blue coloring on his wings and on his head. The females have like a black and brown tiger striping.
Hi, Rem. That
Yeah, and Remington is a barn owl. And he's the only bird that we've actually bought. We bought him as a baby, and we've had him, he'll be 8, I think, this year, is that right?
Yeah.
Barn owls are they're very reclusive. You don't see them very often. And so getting small ones, sometimes you either have to take them from the nest or something like that. We didn't really want to do that, but we did find somebody who was licensed to breed barn owls, and so we got one from a breeder. So Remy came from South Carolina about 8 years ago, and we've had him ever since.
Now this is a
Yeah.
He loves Valerie. He likes me. He tolerates most other people. But yeah, they're very particular in the person that they bond with, and so
Definitely the worst bird I think that we've had to rehab. Barn
Yeah.
owls are just so aggressive. They're probably one of the meaner ones, personality-wise.
yeah. Overall, barn owls have a very, very mean, difficult personality in the wild. Yep, in the falconry world, they're called a muse. And this is Cactus. And he's actually hungry right now, so he's a little bouncy.
wow.
Cactus is a red-tailed hawk, and he's actually a falconry bird.
Okay.
So he has no injuries or illnesses. He was just found when he was really young. And so he's actually a hunting bird, and he helps us hunt for food for the other ones. Sometimes they'll help us get a squirrel now and then, and Shaggy and Scooby are over here in their spot. They're bigger birds, so their opening is a little bit bigger, and they've got a few toys in there, and it's food day, so they're doing exactly what they do in the wild. They've got their quail down there that they're taking care of.
Okay.
This, we've actually not named her. We just call her Big Mama. But she is what's called a piebald. She's partially albino. So she's got those bright white feathers.
Uh-huh.
And she was actually shot. We think that somebody had shot her because she was going after their chickens or something like that. And so you can see she's got that one wing that doesn't work quite right, so she's non-releasable. She'll be with us forever.
Oh wow, look at this. Oh man. Hi Oak.
This is Oakley.
And I haven't been around predator birds a lot, so if I start to do something wrong,
Oh no, you're fine.
Stop
You're
me.
fine there. But yeah, this is Oakley, and Oakley's a barred owl. Most common owl you have here in Tennessee. If you're ever out on a hike in the woods or something like that, and you hear an owl or see one, it's usually going to be these guys. And Oakley came to us from the Fayetteville area. He was attacked by a fox when he was a baby.
oh wow.
And so somebody who they essentially pried Oakley out of the fox's mouth to get him free. And then of course he had some injuries from the bites and so on that made him non-releasable. So he's been with us ever since he was really small. And he is he's a little spazzy when you first go in there, but once you get him, as you can see, like Valerie's got him now, he's very calm. Well,
Whoa.
I said that too soon.
Famous last
I
words.
said that too soon. It's also food day though, so they're all hungry. So we're going to be feeding them after this. And so she's a little nervous
okay.
about that. But she's another one too that once you get her and she understands that you're not a threat to her, then she's usually fine. Hi, Luce. So Lucy came from Manchester. We had a round of really bad storms a few years ago when she was a baby, and she came down out of a tree from the nest, and she was attacked by a dog, and so she had some neck injuries and leg injuries from the dog bites that preclude her from being released. And she is our apex predator. She's stronger than eagles, ospreys, red tails.
Oh wow.
She's our great white shark of the sky. She's not afraid of much of anything, except dogs. She doesn't really like dogs.
She's ready.
Hi, dude.
And I always thought it was interesting.
And then there's Swanee, who is, she's getting rid of the tail feathers.
Yeah, she's molting. She's already lost one over there.
Yeah. So Swanee's another permanent resident. We've had her for a long time. She was another gunshot victim. Where was that feather? Oh, Swanee.
Wow, what an incredible journey. I'm going to leave the URL in the comment section. If you would like to be a part of this ministry to our community, please like, subscribe, and donate to this Middle Tennessee Raptor Center.